So, when a relationship ends, what's our first instinct? It's usually to talk, right? To explain, to try and get that last bit of closure. But what if? What if the most powerful thing you could do is say nothing at all? Today, we're going to explore a completely different path to getting your power back after a split. A journey that starts not with a big confrontation, but with quiet strength.
This really gets to the very heart of it, doesn't it? It's not you walking out the door that makes the biggest splash. It's the empty space you leave behind. See, your real value, it's felt the deepest when it's just gone. And that realization, when it comes from them on their own time, not from your words, that's an incredibly powerful thing. You know, after a breakup, our instincts just scream at us to do everything on the left side of the screen. Chase them down, explain ourselves one more time, beg for that closure. But that's all coming from a place of trying to control something that's, well, already over. The real power, your power, is on the right, in the silence, in your own evolution, in you becoming the closure you were looking for from them. That's the shift we're diving into, from instinct to real power. Okay, so the foundation for this whole approach is silence. And I don't mean an empty, passive silence. I mean a powerful, intentional one. You're basically breaking the pattern they expect. They're waiting for the arguments, the pleading, and when you give them nothing, you completely take back control of the story. You really don't owe anyone a long-winded explanation for choosing your own peace of mind. The simple act of quietly walking away from something that's breaking you is the most profound explanation you can give. It's a statement. It says, my well-being is not up for negotiation anymore.
Think about it. A big, dramatic exit just gives them something to react to, something to point their finger at and blame. But a calm, graceful goodbye, it leaves them with absolutely nothing except their own thoughts and the quiet space where you used to be. And trust me, that echo can be deafening.
All right, let's move on to the next stage, because this is where the real work and the real transformation begins. This is not about just sitting around waiting in silence. Oh no. It's about using that quiet space to actively build a stronger, better version of yourself.
So what does this evolution actually look like? Well, it's two things. First, you evolve loudly in silence. This means your actions do all the talking. Your growth, your new hobbies, your success, that becomes your announcement. And it's way more convincing than any words you could say. And second, you level up emotionally. This is the private, internal work of mastering your feelings and building a kind of resilience no one can see but everyone will feel.
I mean, how powerful is that? Disappear to upgrade. The time you spend out of the spotlight isn't about hiding. It's a transformation period. You step away to do the work. And when you step back into the world, you're not the same person. You come back as someone who just radiates peace.
And all of this leads to a really important question. We get so caught up in this idea of winning a breakup, but what does that even mean? Is it really about making the other person regret what they lost?
And here it is. Here's the answer. Real victory is an inside job. It's that moment when you are so focused on your own happiness and your own growth that the need for their approval or even for them to feel bad, it just evaporates. That right there is true freedom.
Okay, so how do we get to that point of freedom? By mastering a new skill, the art of detachment. And this is all about taking back what is yours and yours alone, your emotional energy and your sense of self-worth. The key words here are peaceful and graceful. This isn't about building angry walls around your heart, not at all. It's about cultivating such a strong sense of inner peace that your energy is just, it's not available for drama anymore. It's a closed circuit.
And putting this into practice is everything. It all starts with detaching with grace, because anger just keeps you connected to them. Then, you make yourself unavailable. Sometimes distance is the only thing that reminds people of what you're worth. And finally, you embrace silence, because it demands a kind of respect that shouting never, ever will.
This one is, well, it's one of the hardest things to do, for sure, but it is so effective. When you resist that urge to text back, to have the last word, you send the clearest message possible. I'm done here. Your silence becomes a powerful boundary.
Now let's talk about the next piece of this puzzle. Letting go, surrender. It's about taking a step back and trusting a force that's way more powerful than you are, and that force is time.
And this is basically how it plays out. Right now, in the present, you create absence. Not for them, for you. Down the road, in the future, that absence might lead them to realize what they lost. But here's the best part. The outcome for you, no matter what they do or think, is peace. You literally can't lose.
You know, there are just some situations where more talking isn't the answer. You could talk until you're blue in the face and get nowhere. In those moments, stepping away creates a vacuum. It gives the whole situation room to breathe, and it allows the truth to finally come to the surface.
And look, when we say let karma handle it, this has nothing to do with revenge. It's about trusting that things have a way of balancing out. By refusing to get your hands dirty seeking payback, you keep your heart clean and your spirit light. You protect your own peace and let the universe sort out the rest.
And this brings us to the final, and honestly the most important part of this whole journey. All of these steps, the silence, the personal evolution, the detachment, they are all leading you to one single destination, your own unshakable, unbreakable peace.
You could really boil this entire process down to these 3 steps. First, you let go, gracefully, without any bitterness. Second, you do the hard work of growing, quietly, for yourself. And the result? You start to glow, naturally. Your peace isn't something you have to force. It just becomes who you are.
If you take only one thing away from all of this, please let it be this. Forget about proving a point. The single most powerful statement you could ever make is to be genuinely, deeply, unapologetically happy again. Your joy, that's your victory, and it belongs to you and you alone.
So let's end with 2 final truths to really let sink in. First, always remember this. The right people for you will never have to lose you to realize what you're worth. And second, it's time to reframe this whole story. This was never about what you lost. It's about what they lost. And more importantly, it's about everything you gained: healing, growth, and finally, peace. So, the final question really is for you. We've seen how your peace is the true source of your power. It's right there, waiting for you. The only thing left to ask is, are you ready to claim it?